What's up? BigHerc916. Positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here. Hit that like, it really helps the channel algorithm, and subscribe to the channel. Support, share. I'm always putting out videos to try to positively influence the young people and share game for parents so that they can possibly watch these videos with their kids and teach life lessons, because sometimes when kids hear messages from other people, it resonates differently. But we have to make the effort to, for one, hold children accountable, but also teach them the responsibility of choices. And a lot of parents, because of just maybe the economics or financial burdens or just life in general, they don't really have the talks with their kids like they used to back in the day. I mean, dinner time, no phones. How's your homework? What's going on with school? Interviewing the children's friends before they go out and hang out with certain people, or meet the parents. I know one of the things when I was growing up was, if you want to go stay at somebody's house or visit their house, usually the parent wanted to meet the other parent just so they can establish some type of means of communication. The parent wanted to meet the kids to see what type of kid they were. Sometimes the parent would invite that kid over to see that kid behaved when they were around their child, so that they can have an idea of what type of stuff they were getting into. All these different things that were about communication, and everything I feel either uh, grows or dies with communication. Communication is the biggest tool we have that doesn't cost anything. It's just time. Sunday dinners, um, just all these things that you don't think about because maybe you're caught up in social media or you're busy with work, but you have to take the time to communicate, talk with your kids, and find out what's going on through their heads. I mean, a lot of times kids are dealing with situations, especially once they get into junior high school. You have older kids. When you talk about junior high school, I know mine was it sixth to eighth grade. So when you start having those age gaps and younger kids are interacting with older kids, it kind of sends a message, and it also creates a pecking order, and kids are become kind of tribal at that age, and the more mature kids are influencing the younger kids, and all these things become factors. And parents that went through it, maybe they never reflected back on it to see how it impacted them, but being able to kind of guide your kids through that so that they know better and give them better tools than what you had, that's why you're a parent. And it even gets more important when they go to high school, because then you have from ninth to 12th grade. So then you have a bigger age gap and more influence. And then you got older kids picking on littler kids, and how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, what classes you're in. Are you smart? Are you dumb? Are you athletic? All these things play a factor. And supporting your kid, but also building communication skills with your kid on how to handle situations will save your kid's life. And so these are so important when it comes to the development of a young person. And I had all right. I would talk with my mom, and she knew some of my friends, but I was lost, man. I was lost. I was scared. A lot of times, uh, when you're in environments and you feel like you're different, or you're trying to make friends, and things are very cliquish, whether they're based on the jocks, the skaters, or the people who have more money. All these things impact you in some way, shape, or form, and make you feel some kind of way as a kid. Um, oh, there's only a handful of maybe black kids at the school, or there's only a handful of Mexican kids at the school, or, these different dynamics. And, as an adult, you probably feel like, oh, I made it past that. It's not really a big thing. But for kids, that can be something that just overwhelms them. And learning how to cope with those situations, talking with your child about the situations, doing it in a mature way, trying to figure out how the kids can navigate through that is very important. And teaching kids self-worth. Um, if you teach these kids the values of the life lessons that you've learned, or put them in touch with somebody that can help them teach them life lessons, then you don't have to go back and try to address something that the child did that already has a consequence, whether it's having a knife, having a gun, doing some drugs, stealing, whatever the case may be, all these different things. But you got to stay on top of your children, and you got to really put the effort forth to, not only educate them, but communicate them in a way where even if they get mad at you, they get mad at you because they know that you're right, or they know that you're trying to teach them something. But that's the only way you're going to get it into these children's head, because a lot of kids, they're just stubborn. I was stubborn, and you think you know stuff, and you don't want to act like you don't know, and there's a lot of just hormonal things going on. But these are things we got to work on as human beings, so that we don't create this divide and separation. And every time something happens, throw race into the situation to make it something that, oh, it's because of this and that. No, it's because of just people. We're human beings, first and foremost. At the end of the day, oh, okay, yeah, this person might like this. Oh, this person, man, that's life. That's not just over here in America. That's around the world. And you're not going to force certain people to act a certain way because you want them to. And that's what something you got to learn, whether it's growing up in the workplace, whether it's playing high school sports, whether it's going to mixed martial arts classes, whatever the case may be. You're going to have to learn to cope with that. So to make that an excuse every time is a cop out. And I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing it. Oh, you say, man, I experienced stuff, but I'm not crying about. I mean, so what? Everybody's experienced something. You're not the only one. You're not special. You're not, you don't deserve a brownie because of, your skin color. You know, the more you understand that life doesn't reward those who feel they're victims, and that life rewards those who have established themselves and applied themselves, then you will understand that if you put forth the best effort, and people say, well, you're talking all that. What about, look, man, yeah, okay, you want a Lambo, you want a big house, you didn't get that, but you're working hard, you got a roof over your head, you got your bills paid, you're not living above your means, you're not out messing with hookers and coke, then okay, you're doing all right, man. A lot of times you see that stuff, and you can't you can't throw yourself into that person's life because you don't know what they're doing when the camera's not on. So a lot of that is an illusion, and when you try to put yourself against that illusion, it can make you feel some kind of way, or make you feel, have some type of complex. And you shouldn't do that, man. You should do the best you could do by you, and then elevate yourself to put yourself around people who you can learn from. And that's how you grow. I mean, it's effort. It's not, but I grew up on, okay, yeah, you grew up over there, so what are you going to do about it? You got to do something about it. You can't sit in the house and cry. You can't sit in front of your computer in the garage, in the basement, and play video and get mad. And then if somebody says something to you, want to go do something, man, you're gonna have to learn how to first channel your emotions, and also be a better human being to other human beings. But it starts with you parents and your kids, man. You know, teach your kids coping mechanisms. Let your kid go put a headgear on and learn how to get kicked upside the head in karate or mixed martial arts or jujitsu or take wrestling. Take something that he'll lose in. Your kid should take some losses in life. That's a reality. Your kid should take some losses in life to make them a better person. Whether it's being choked out in a martial arts event, whether it's being knocked out in kicking, whether it's being knocked down in football, whether it's being uh, um, scoring 0 points in a basketball game. Your kid needs to feel what it's like to lose. Sitting on a bench in a baseball game, I've experienced pretty much all that. Laid out in football, right field, last inning in Little League Baseball, black eye from fighting, getting chased home, all these different things, man. But it's a part of life. And even with that, I made some choices, but I think back like, damn, how could I have made better choices? And the one thing I didn't have is a father figure, which makes a big difference. My mom did what she could do. I'm not knocking her. I'm not knocking you single moms, but you need a man. You need a father, not just a man, because a man comes in. I had a man, he came in, stepped down. He was a piece of shit. You need a father figure. You need that. So before you just, decide to, whatever you do, think about that if you haven't already had a child. But if you have a child, let the father participate if he's about something. Hopefully you have a decent father with the child. But keep your child busy, get them in activities. It doesn't always have to be something that's based on monetary. It could be creative, whether it's doing mock models or the planetary system. They used to have that in science class, and or just building stuff, working with wood, learning how to use tools. All these things, man, that take a kid outside the room without the little fucking virtual goggles on and all that shit, but puts him in an environment where he has to communicate and develop skills that require him to build something, use his hands, and create value. The more value you create, the more you feel like you have something to lose if you do something stupid. And even then, it doesn't mean that you're immune. It just means that you have at least a better thought process. Because I've made some stupid mistakes, and I was not a dummy, but it was just I was like programmed until I snapped I woke up and consciously when I had the handcuffs on me and I was on the beach in Ventura, I was like, wow, this is a wrap. I got to change my life. But before that, I was still on gangster mode. I was still on, I could do this over here in the square world, and I could still do this over here in the gangster world. And that was my mistake. And it took a long time for me to break that cycle, man. And I've seen other guys, maybe it takes them longer, some less, and I would rather you break it on the streets before your child does something stupid and has to go pay the price and then gets put in an environment where there's a bunch of other savages, and then he takes on a whole nother structure. So I just want to share that with you, man, on this Sunday. This is Easter Sunday, and I really have a lot of love for young people, and I feel like we have to work hard on saving them and giving them the things they need to succeed, because our future is dependent on them making wise choices and also challenging the status quo. Just because you have money don't make you better than anybody. These people who come from these certain environments think like they have something over these other people. Oh, you people beneath. No, man. It's all about what you instill in a certain demographic. And yeah, it is harder in certain areas. And some people are just going to be what they are. They're going to be welfare babies. They're going to be in and out of prison. They're going to do dumb shit. That's just what it is. Just like you got people who are going to, over here, um, build fortunes, grow their family wealth, or succeed, come out of nothing and become something. It's just the way life is. Not everybody is going to be a doctor, lawyer. Some people are going to be drug addicts. Some people are going to be street workers. Some people are going to be plumbers. Some people are going to be engineers. It's just life, man. And where you fall into that is up to you, and hopefully whatever your spiritual journey is. But if you're conscious and you can hear this message in this video, then make an effort to talk to your child so your child could win, or at least have the opportunity and have the best tools possible going forward and have a better chance because nothing's guaranteed. There's nothing that says, well, why this person making, this person didn't make it. I mean, I've looked at that and it's like, wow, why couldn't I have done this and done that? But and it's like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why sometimes things haven't happened faster, or why things happen faster for some people, slower for other people. I don't know, man. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know why some kids do certain things, and I don't know why some other kids do other things. I don't know. I just try to make the I try to connect the dots and figure out the mistakes I make. Cause I can only talk about me and people I've come across and what I've experienced and conversations I've had to share with you guys to help hopefully you make better choices than I did, because I don't I don't want people to have to experience some of the things I went through, because I'm like, why should I have even had to go through that? It doesn't make sense, but I guess it does because I can share this message. So BigHerc916.
The popos are coming. I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh,
916, and I would like to introduce you to Little Herk's Big Lessons. My wife and I decided to come out with a children's book series that encourages young children to be strong, to make good choices, and also teach valuable lessons. Lesson 2, Speak with Strength. At school, Little Herk's classmate Maria looked upset. The bigger kids were teasing her about her artwork. Hey, Little Herk said, stepping forward. Maria's art is awesome. Let's show some respect. The bigger kids shuffled their feet and walked away. Maria smiled at Little Herk. Thanks, Herk. You're always brave enough to stand up for what's right. Little Herk felt proud. Speaking up is what strong people do. You can pick up the book, link in the description.
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.